organized by the Central Bureau of Communication, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Field Office Kohima, in association with the Chief Electoral Officer, Nagaland. Ladies and gentlemen, over the next 2 sessions, our esteemed speakers and resource person will provide you plenty of knowledge and insight on the procedures and understanding of Sveep, and we are truly honored that today we are joined by our chief guest, Shri V. Shashank Shekhar, IAS, Chief Electoral Officer, Nagaland. Thank you, sir, for gracing us with your valuable time. Can we have a huge round of applause?
Madam Chairperson, respected Chief Guest, Shri V. Shashank Shekhar, the Chief Electoral Officer of Nagaland, distinguished guest of honor, Sri Shahnawaz C., Deputy Commissioner of Kohima, our learned resource person for today's discourse, Srimati Kikamsangla Jamir, Deputy Secretary and OSD to CEO Nagaland, and all distinguished invitees. At the outset, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you, and it gives me immense pleasure to introduce and welcome our chief guest for today's program, the Chief Electoral Officer of Nagaland, Sri V. Shashank Shekhar, a brilliant administrator who has had rich experience in the field of administration and has worked in various capacities during his career, both in the state of Nagaland and at the center. With the Government of India, he served as Joint Secretary under the Ministry of Human Resource Development and the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. And in Nagaland, he served as Commissioner and Secretary Science and Technology, Director ATI, Secretary Home Department, and of course currently as the CEO Nagaland, to mention a few. We thank you, sir, for making time to be with us in spite of your busy schedule, and we are truly honored by your kind presence, and we thank you for being part of this humble initiative. I extend a warm welcome to Sri Shahnawaz C., Deputy Commissioner of Nagaland, also an excellent administrator himself, who has achieved a lot even at his young age. He served as DC PEG, Principal Director School Education Department, to mention a few. His initiative of Tele-Online Education Program during COVID-19 pandemic has won huge international accolade and recognition from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development Education. We welcome you, sir, and we thank you for always supporting our department. I also extend my warm welcome to our distinguished guest speaker and resource person, Srimati Kikamsangla Jamir, Deputy Secretary and OSD to the CEO. We thank you, ma'am, and your esteemed department for partnering with us in organizing this meaningful conversation and giving us the opportunity to share this platform with some of the most important stakeholders of the electoral process. I also welcome all the troop leaders from Nagaland and Manipur, my distinguished media friends, students, and all invitees. Friends, elections in India are one of the most challenging processes in the country's democratic tradition for the sheer scale, size, diversity, and complexity. The holding of free and fair elections in India has always been a matter of great pride and honor for our country. However, to achieve this, young Indians who become qualified to be registered as voters need to be given the necessary orientation and facilitation to understand their new role and get engaged with the electoral registration and further participation process. There are visible gaps in participation among women, urban population, weaker sections, and others in various parts of the country, owing to a range of factors. And in our context, there is also the need to promote ethical and informed voting, free of inducements among voters. And this is where Sveep has emerged as a phenomenon in the arena of providing voter literacy. Over the years, we have witnessed that the program of systematic voter education and electoral participation has had a demonstrative impact in educating voters and catalyzing high voter participation. Joining the bandwagon, today's workshop is one such initiative, as we partner with CEO Nagaland, our objective is to enhance qualitative participation during these assembly elections. And accordingly, the objective of this workshop will be on capacity building for the PRTs from Nagaland and Manipur to carry out the message of Sveep in identified areas of the state. The workshop will aim to train and equip private registered troops on election process, creating voter awareness and effective communication through Sveep campaign with special focus on information, motivation, and facilitation. The PRTs, which are the private registered troops, will then carry out the campaign at various locations in innovative ways where they will mobilize and communicate with the audience through songs, dramas, dances, martial arts skills, displays, and various genres of communication.
When the elections were announced, I came across one newspaper, giving in the paper that they will not entertain any villages giving news or any private parties giving news of support and paid news kind of a setup. So we encourage from the election process that more such media people come forward and spread this message. Otherwise, we have come across, even in Kohima district, some paid news in last few days. And these kind of paid news, and even so, malpractices were one candidate or the candidate supporters, they opened a fake social media account of the opposition candidate and spreading the messages. So these are all very unfair practices. And we hear from various constituencies in the state that this much money will be spent, that much money will be spent. I think we as a collective group, we should come forward. Not 40, 50 of us sitting in this room, but we can be the messenger for many. Otherwise, our claim that India is the largest democracy for its sheer size will not have a proper meaning, because it will be just a democracy for the namesake. Just 2 weeks left, hardly 2 weeks left for the elections, and these 2 weeks are very crucial because the candidates or the supporters, they will try to indulge in malpractices, and one side of our population is also there, where many youngsters are very apathetic to the election, and they think that nothing is going to change, I will not go out to vote. But I encourage all the population to come forward. If we cannot go and play in the field, we don't have the right to sit in the balcony and just make comments.
Thank you, Chairperson, for today. Mr. Sophie from the Central Bureau of Communication, whose department has organized this wonderful program. I was looking forward to being here. Mr. Shanvas, DC Kohima. Ms. Kikam Sangla, who is in our office only. She is Deputy Secretary in the Secretariat, but attached as OSD for the elections and very deeply involved with our activities, especially the Sveep program. She is the nodal officer for Sveep in our office. Ms. Asano from the All India Radio, representatives from other departments, our friends from PRTs, the private registered troops, our friends from media. I am happy to be here. I was looking forward to being here. Only thing is that I heard the Manipur troops have not been able to reach in time. When I was coming, what I had planned was, I won't say much except for some introductory remarks and maybe interact a little bit with the PRTs. But I don't know whether we have, so I'll do my introductory remarks part, but I don't know if we have PRTs from Nagaland also here, or some are here. Okay. Okay. So maybe when they come, some of you could share what I have said with them. We all know the election process is in full swing. Yesterday was the last day for withdrawal of candidature. So now they will the list of candidates has come out for the elections, and 183 of them for 59 constituencies. So one is uncontested, already declared elected unopposed. So the intensity of the campaign will also increase now. So concerns which have been expressed by different stakeholders, and our DC also just mentioned the illegal use of money power, muscle power. So the commission also tries throughout the country in whatever ways it can control these things. So there is an enforcement mechanism. There are central government agencies, state government agencies, state police, excise, central income tax, enforcement directorate. So many agencies are involved. At the same time, I've often said this effort will be successful only if it is complemented by efforts of society, all stakeholders, the voters, common citizens, village councils, town dwellers, political parties, media. We all have to come together, then only we'll be able to have a free and fair election. I think our guests have reached, so let them settle down. So you may have heard before also, and just now also our DC mentioned about some villages which have passed these resolutions saying we will not accept any inducement, any effort at bribery of voters, we'll keep check on any liquor. We are a dry state, but I think especially election time, these reports, complaints come to us about use or misuse of liquor. So villages, village councils have come together, the villagers have gathered and passed such resolutions. So we want to encourage more villages to pass such resolutions. And in fact, how the youth has tremendous energy. So how we can utilize that energy in a constructive manner to prevent all kinds of wrongdoing. We are happy that the Central Bureau of Communication has this innovative way of involving arts and music troops and martial arts, other performances. So we don't know in other states what has been their experience, but what Mr. Sophie was telling me, when they perform, a lot of people come out and watch these performances. So when I wanted to interact, this is what I wanted to ask the troops, how they mobilize and how best. What we want to happen is this, that they are able to mobilize the villagers, the young population, to prevent wrongdoing. So this is my question to them, how best we can achieve that aim. I remember an incident. They say music is a universal language. So as I was sitting, I remembered some years back, there was a very eminent person, musician, singer, in different fields, very excelled. I mean, he has excelled in different fields. So there was a big program in Mumbai. So a lot of people were there. So he asked this question to the audience, that suppose you are singing or performing with an instrument. So where does that music come from? So some answered, from that instrument it comes, or if you are singing, if you are playing the guitar, maybe your fingers are at work. Someone said it comes from the heart. I also thought maybe it is true, but then he said, if you cut the heart, will you find the music there? I mean, half jokingly only he was talking. Then he answered that question. If I remember correctly, his words were that music comes from beyond. Maybe it comes from a higher reality of which we are all a part. That's why we are able to identify. And I'm sure all of us have experienced that when we listen to very good music, rich music, it uplifts us and takes it beyond the mundane problems of our day-to-day life. So with that kind of a rich resource available with us through these PRTs, this is the question I want to ask you. How best can you help us in this aim of a free and fair election? How best can you mobilize our youth and different stakeholders so that they don't take part, even if some candidate or political party, even if, I hope they don't, but even if they offer something to you, to the voters, how should we motivate them and tell them that it is legally wrong, it is morally wrong, it is bribery only? Just as in government departments, if somebody takes money to do his duty, it is corruption, it is a crime, he can be arrested, he can be put in jail. And morally also, socially also, we look down upon such activities. So do you agree that in the electoral process also, if the voter takes money and somebody offers him money, that is also wrong, morally wrong, and it is a criminal offense under the law of the land, under the Representation of People Act, under the IPC, it is a crime. But how best, as I said, the enforcement agencies are trying, but how best do we motivate our voters, our common people, to also be part of this endeavor? So this question I'm posing, I don't know how many PRTs, they've all come. Okay. So maybe I leave that question to all of us, and in the workshop our resource person is here on our behalf. She could pose this question, and I'll be happy to hear what answers come. And if any Nagaland PRT representatives are there, I could quickly hear from them. Anybody is there? Any from Nagaland? Do we have any PRT representatives? Achha, anyway, so that is the question before all of us, and we could hear from our media friends also. I can see these are your IPR department. IPR are there. This is from? You are from this table. You are journalists behind you. The second table.
Actually, they are student leaders.
Student leaders.
From Science College.
Science College. Okay. So you heard what I said. So this, I said, for us, the young voters are also a very important group to whom we want to give this message. So very briefly, I would like to hear from you. You heard our concerns. Do you agree with that? You don't agree? Tell us frankly, do you think there is a concern about proxy voting? Is there a concern about efforts? We really hope it doesn't happen, but does it? Have you heard from anyone that such things happen? Somebody tries to give money or tries to give liquor. Any one of you, can you respond? Have you heard something, or you feel everything is free and fair? Then also you can share. Any one of you, Science College students? We would like to hear from you. Yeah. Sorry? You have heard about money? Okay. We don't have that cordless, na?
Yes, we have.
You have? Okay. So no, there's no right or wrong answer. We just want to hear from you. So what do you think should we do more? As I said, we have our agencies, and through these PRTs and through all our media friends, we are trying to spread that message that at least our young voters or our women voters, all voters should not accept that. So how best do you think we could communicate? Or whatever you share, whatever thoughts you have about this. How can we address this? You agree this is a problem, or you think it is okay?
Yes, it's a problem.
So just your ideas, what do you think? What could we do as a society or as young people? Anything, you could just share your ideas about it.
It's a more awareness program on the village level.
Okay. Yeah, feel free. As I said, just it's like a family gathering. You could just share your thoughts. More awareness program, that's right, that is a good idea. So maybe in the technical session, Kikam Sangla, you can take their ideas also if they are there. What kind of awareness programs? We have these troops you heard no, from Manipur, and they have performed in Manipur also. So they are able to mobilize people through their performances. So can we send across our message? You tell me. No, you said what you said, I agree, that there should be more awareness programs, isn't it? Anything else you want to share? Okay, thank you. So I'm sure if you can join in the technical session also with our resource person, and then you can interact with our troops which have come, and you could help them, all of you, in chalking out the program as they go around to different districts. How should they are coming from Manipur, they are our guests here. So our society, we know best what appeals to our youth, to our different sections of society. So how best we can, as I said, convey that message. You share your ideas. and maybe we'll put it into practice in the coming days. I'm sure Mr. Sophie will also be actively involved in this exercise. So as I said, I wanted this to be interactive. As CEO, I have shared my concerns. I have shared the positive strength of our society also. Earlier I said, in our state, in Nagaland, the society is very democratic inherently. We give space to all sections of society. In the villages, it is very common. We have all heard, we all know, that even the poorest person in the village, even if he is not economically well off, he has that space and he is given that voice to express his opinion. And this is manifested in different aspects of our life. So that democratic spirit has also to reflect in our electoral process. So if somebody is giving money or other inducements, and if through that he is able to get proxy votes or other form of support in the elections, then that is a total travesty of justice, so to say, isn't it? So we all have to come together to see how it doesn't happen. So those are my questions, and I hope we'll get some answers today also and in the coming days also. So I request CBC and our resource person to actively engage with our youth representatives and the guests who have come from Manipur. And as I said, in the coming days, before the 27th, when the polling takes place, if through our efforts something concrete happens on the ground, then it has been worth it. I remember before one such workshop, again somebody very wise had said to me that such workshops, interactions are useful only if something changes on the ground. Otherwise it's just a discussion, isn't it? So let us hope through this workshop something happens. Even if 10 people we can change, even 1,000 maybe we can change, maybe 100 villages we can affect. So let us try our best. Thank you very much.
Nagaland TV, Soap Manulaga Awas. Watch us live on Geo TV and on your television sets as well. For Dimapur viewers, we are on channel number 994 in Global Chapter, and Kohima and Mokokchung viewers, switch to channel number 138 on Hornbill Digital. For all news and updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and Twitter.